What I don't recommend is listening to people who are doing sponsored videos that are not telling you the whole truth. Today's customer is a complete legend. So I recently watched a video on the new Hypervolt Home Pro 3. And to be honest, a lot of it didn't sit very well with me because I think a lot of the content in it wasn't strictly true, almost a lie. So I thought I would tell you the truth about the new charger. Now, the whole reason why I started making YouTube videos was because I wanted to be able to advise my clients on EV chargers and give them unbiased information about them. And I can see if that charger will suit them. And I personally feel some Sparks now are selling their souls a little bit and promoting products purely for the money. And I think this platform should be used to give you real relevant information, whether you're a customer or you're an installer. So that's what I'm going to do today with the new Hypervolt. There's something else that's really niggled me with the new release of the Hypervolt, and I'll share that with you a little bit later on. And this hasn't just affected me, it's affected other installers as well. So I watched this other video again, and I decided to make a list of all the points that were made in the video that are supposed to be advantageous to installers and the clients, and I'm going to work through them one by one and share with you whether it's actually relevant or it's all BS. The first point I'm going to bring up is the Hypervolt is supposed to have new packaging now. The materials inside are put in a sequence to help the installer and speed up the process. So I'm going to unbox this with you and we'll see if that is the case. So this tear strip here is a new touch. The old one never used to have this. Doesn't work very well. So inside, what you can see is we have the front cover with a wall bracket drill template and a holster drill template. This is new packaging, this is different. I'll show you later if I'm going to bother with this template or not, because a lot of the templates I simply don't. So this is the new base grey cover. First impressions, if you're looking at this from a customer's perspective, this hasn't changed. This is the same shape, it's not a new design. But on the back of it, we do have these connections which apparently get rid of the cable ribbon that's on the other one to connect up the neons. So we'll see what that's like in a bit. So the new charger, let's get it out and have a look. Bit of cardboard. And there is the new Hypervolt charger. Box of bits, same as the old box, and an installation guide. And a bracket. So, for a video that says that this has been packaged in a certain way so you can install this in order, completely disagree with that. First thing I would normally do is install the bracket, so that should be at the top surely. So, packaging as an installer makes no difference. With this new box, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws to get this cover off. These are 8 more screws than that was on the last one. Don't see how that makes it quicker. I'm gonna have a quick look inside this box of bits, see what we've got. We've got a CT clamp as standard, a CT connection, and some more bolts for the front cover, I imagine, and the holster. I think we'll talk about this a bit later on. First thing I'm going to do is just cut these tie wraps off the cable because they're just annoying. And then what I'm going to do, which is slightly different to the other video, is use a screwdriver to undo these. Any decent Spark has a screwdriver set with Allen keys on them. My initial thoughts on this as well is, when I watched the video, I thought this looked metal, but it's not. It's all plastic. I haven't got a problem with that. And I also heard that these screws were going to be made captive. Whether that's happened yet or not, I don't know. We'll find out. Again, I've got no issue with that. So far, this process has not been quicker. No, they're not captive yet. So if you're carrying out this job and you're doing it above like gravel or bark or anything, watch out for that because you are going to lose these. 2, 4, 5, 6. I've already lost 2. All the way inside. 7, 8. Put them somewhere safe. If I have a little look at my list, we'll have a little run through some of the things that were stated and see if it's really made any difference. So, packaging, new design, so you can take each part out in logical order. False, the brackets at the bottom, that's the first thing you install. There's no ribbon on front of the charger anymore. True. However, I've noticed that there is a connection on this front to connect it up to this. So, it's not a ribbon, but it's still a connector. So, that made absolutely no difference whatsoever in the speed of things. Captive screws, covered that, they're not there. Redesign of the internal electronics. Let's have a look. Absolutely, this is definitely a new design. But do you know what? All this stuff that goes on in here, does it matter to a client? No. Does it matter to the installer? No. This does its own job. The only bit I'm really interested in is these terminals here, which there's room to work with, as there was in the old one. And there's the CT connection there. There's 2 CT connections now, so there's one for solar, which is brilliant, that's great, positive. And we should have the dial here somewhere for the grid, tucked away in the little corner there, so that's still there, fine. What's next? New rear bracket, which is supposed to make it quicker and easier to install. Is it? The old charger, it just had 4 screws. You could just literally use a chalk marker, mark your holes, screw it in, job done. That was easy. Now with this bracket, which is here, you've got to still drill 3 screws, so whatever. So apparently this charger has a new rear entry, which it does there. There's a cutout marked there for a 25mm gland rear entry. Is this new? No. The old Hypervolt had a rear entry too, and you can watch my other videos and you can see me install it that way. So that's not a new feature. Apparently when you mounted the old charger, it used to warp it and it was difficult to get it level. That's absolutely BS. Anyone who's half decent with a drill can get a charge level. It was just 4 screws. So that's no different. The installer app, we'll come to that later because I'm an experienced Hypervolt installer. I've installed an awful lot of them and I'm very familiar with the app. And from what I saw in the other video, there was no difference in it. Whether that's an update coming, I don't know. But I imagine with the old Hypervolt app, they're going to update it so it's the same. So that's not a brand new thing. So this charger is now rated at IP66. Which means it's protected against water jets. Does that really matter? I've installed loads of chargers. I haven't had a single client ask me if it's okay if they can smash it with a pressure hose. So I don't think that's really necessary or it matters. Is it an improvement on the product? Yes, not saying that. But it doesn't make a lot of difference as far as I'm concerned. And apparently this is impact resistance to IK10, which means that if you crash into it, it's not going to get damaged. To be honest, I think that's a load of rubbish. There's a couple of things I've got to say about that. One, if your customer has reversed into the charger, you've probably installed it too low. Secondly, feeling this, if this was metal, then I'd maybe say, yeah, maybe you've got a point, but... And to be honest, there's other chargers out there like the Simpson and Partners, and that has something called shunt protection built into it, which means that if it gets hit, the charger will detect this and it will disconnect all live and earthing conductors. That's quite cool. IK10 doesn't matter. So I'm going to get this charger installed now. I'm going to show you that and we're going to talk about whether I think it's better or not, if it's made any difference whatsoever. Because to be honest, I think the old charger was absolutely fine. I'm not saying improvements haven't been made, but what I don't like is other people making videos misleading and promoting a product when the changes are completely irrelevant. So what you need to do when installing this charger is I want my cable to run in a straight line here. And with the old charger, I'd simply hold this up, I'd have my gland in place, drill my holes, nice and easy. But with this new one, you've got this triangle bracket, which goes that way round. Mark your fixing holes. So that's 3 holes drilled instead of 4. Speedy, speedy. Apparently this just clips on. Like that. And in that little packet of bits, which I've put in a safe place, can't find now, there is a retaining screw. So we'll get that out. So the retaining screw, it's a different Allen key size head from the ones around the side. So that's not annoying at all. So that's that, nice and fixed. I'm also just going to have a quick look in the installer's guide to see if they've made any alterations to torque settings. What have I done with that? La 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 la. And it says to mount the holster after mounting that bracket. No, I'm not going to do that. I'll do that later. There's nothing about torque settings, so that's fine. And I'm just going to whiz ahead to putting on the front with all of those screws and see if there's a torque setting for that. Fitting the faceplate, again, nothing about any torque settings, so you just screw it up. It's just tight. Okay, let's continue. Now I'm going to share with you something that actually is speedy, and that is using the spit gun with the D-line clips to fix this cable. Obviously it's brickwork there, but to be honest, you get really good fixing in the mortar most of the time with these. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll show you how quick and easy it is to do this. Now that is speedy. Mark off where I'm going to gland it. And then I'm going to get this end paired for testing. The other end's already done. I would argue that this termination space is not a lot different from the other one, if I'm honest. Very minimal. Maybe a little bit more room, and that's cool. Nothing massive. And the reason I'm not mounting the holster till last is because I want to wrap the charging cable around it to see where it falls nicely. So I've got my cable connected up now, all torqued up, and I've done my dead testing and my live testing through the cable. I'm going to stick the front cover on now with the million screws provided. I'm going to attach this cable instead of a ribbon cable, so that's a massive time saver. And interestingly, I double checked the instructions and there's definitely no torque setting for these screws, which I thought was interesting because I thought they may have included that to maintain this IP66, but clearly hand tight is good enough. It says not to over tighten though, so this definitely seems quicker. Now that's done, I'm going to go and get my cover. So this should just push on. So this is the new holster. It looks very sort of pod pointy if you ask me, but it's better plastic than the pod point holster without doubt. So I like to plug it in, see where it's going to fall, and we're going to mount this probably about there, I reckon. Then I just simply unclip it, put that down carefully, and then mark my holes. Now in the other video it was explained how this holster is angled down now rather than more outright, which I agree, that is nicer. Now I'm going to go and turn this on and I'm going to check out these LEDs. I don't know if you can see this, but these LEDs are definitely brighter. They're much nicer. That I do like. So I'm going to go on the installers app now and try and connect this up. I've had to download the new installers app, so we'll see if that's any different. In order to get the installers app, you need to set that up through Hypervolt. If you haven't got that, you can still commission this charger, but you need to adopt the charger yourself, run through all your tests, and then you can unadopt it and hand it back over. So let's see if we can get this connected to the internet. The other one was a little bit temperamental with the internet sometimes. So we can just select my charger, network unavailable, change Wi-Fi network, searches for networks, see if mine is here, enter the password, and see if it gets connected. We've got a solid blue light around the outside, which normally means it's connected. Connected. So that's really good actually. So this is connected to the charger. And just to give you an idea, this is like a detached garage. The house is over there. So that's gone quite a way. I'm quite happy with that. That's a bit of an improvement, definitely. Because previously with the Hypervolt, the internet connection, the Wi-Fi connection, even going through one wall when the router was quite close, it could be really bad. Max charge 32 amps and 1A CT1 current, and it's got a testing mode, so we'll select that. What that's going to do is allow me to carry out my tests without the random delay. I'll get that done now. So this is the Hypervolt app, and my customer has kindly allowed me to use their phone to show you what's going on. And this is what was described as the new app, which is actually exactly the same as the old one. So you can still lock it, unlock it, start and stop it, go into settings, go into LED modes, you can change the LED modes. As you can see, that has changed. Put it back on the party. So the app's not different at all. Maybe there's an update coming, I don't know, but it's certainly not a new app. If you've got the old Hypervolt, it's exactly the same. So this new Hypervolt has an impact rating of IK10. Let's see if it's true. Are you joking? That would be crazy. So that is the new Hypervolt fitted. What are my thoughts on it? Basically, it's a nice unit. It's the same as the old one, apart from the only difference that I can personally see from a customer's point of view is it has this IK10 impact rating, which, okay, that's great. It's definitely an improvement on the build quality, but it's not really necessary. It doesn't make a lot of difference. If you've got one of the older chargers, I wouldn't worry. The holster's different, I like that. Now it's on a bit more of a slant. That's a nice little touch, so it's not so invasive. And it has this splash proof, this IP65 rating, which is great if you're gonna smash it with a pressure hose, which no one does. So with this Hypervolt all of a sudden, overnight, decided they were gonna release this model. And what came with that is a slight price increase. And I had to order one of these the next day for this job. Now the old charger was still available, but not in space grey. So we had the option of the white or the black, and neither of those my customer wanted. He wanted the space grey. So I had to buy the new upgraded charger. And I took a hit on that price because I wanted to honour the price that I provided to my customer. So I wasn't overly happy with that. I feel like there should have been a bit of warning from Hypervolt that this was all going to happen, but I understand they wanted to do this surprise reveal. But a little bit of advance notice wouldn't have hurt at all, because I've now had to pay a cost for that. Unless you want to jump on your charger, crash into it, or smash it with a pressure hose, there's not a lot of difference. The app's the same. There may be an upgrade coming on. That's still absolutely the same. And the colour modes, they're the same. Scheduling, charging, the plug and charge, that was all on. The app is normal, no difference there. So this is still a good charger. I still recommend this charger. But what I don't recommend is listening to people who are doing sponsored videos that are not telling you the whole truth. Subscribe to my channel.